inches. Slim get fluffy. Let's go. We're not going out, you know. Things are only getting hotter and hotter this season.
Click, click, pow. That must tell you something.
There's a great story happening just in our backyard. We are on the Holy Road again.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CBM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Donald Trump dubbed today Liberation Day for the United States, but others saw it differently. They said it was World Tariff Day, and true to his word, Trump slapped a raft of tariffs on countries that do business with the United States. He had a baseline rate for most countries, and then he had an adapted rate for other countries who he said were particularly perverse in the tariffs that they imposed on goods from the United States entering their countries. We'll discuss that here on Lead Story this evening. Also, the main part of the discussion will be spent talking about the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal JAMP and a recent citizen survey that they did, which reflected the views of Jamaicans about what they feel the role of their MPs ought to be in the fight against corruption. Makes for very interesting reading, and JAMP's founder will speak with me along with one of the men who's an exemplar of parliamentary attendance and participation, the JLP's Robert Miller. Lead Story time, let's start the show. Welcome back to Lead Story. Welcome to Lead Story on this Wednesday afternoon. This is April 2, 2025, a day that will go down in history as the first World Tariff Day, essayed by Donald Trump, the U.S. president. And he says, look, he had to do this because of how certain countries were taking advantage of the United States and violating the understanding that they had their bilateral relationships by imposing tariffs on U.S. goods entering their countries while they pay little to no tariffs, relatively speaking, on their goods that U.S. companies bought from those countries. So Trump sought to set the record straight today by imposing those tariffs. I can't get my graphic up here on my device, but that's fine. I can tell you that across the Caribbean, he's imposed a 10% tariff on goods coming out of countries like Jamaica, like Trinidad and Tobago, like Barbados, like St. Lucia, like Guyana, like Antigua and Barbuda. So you just look at CARICOM, 10% tariff as a baseline across those countries. For other countries, the tariffs go up as high as 60%. As he says, he's trying to shock the established order into a kind of reversal that allows U.S. companies to start extracting more of the wealth that they should justly be extracting, and for individual Americans to have more money in their pockets. I don't know how that works because it goes against everything that we've been taught about how economies and how economics and how markets work. But let's see if Trump's gamble will pay off. So, World Tariff Day today, April 2, 2025. Let's see if there's a commemoration in 12 months' time. Beyond that, though, JAMP has gone about gauging the responses from citizens insofar as what they feel the role of their member of parliament should be about the issue of corruption and the fight against that scourge. And in case you haven't seen the study, which you may not have, we've just synthesized the best bits of it to give you an idea of what the study was about and what it found.
Members of Parliament, MPs, play a critical role in shaping the political landscape of Jamaica. As elected representatives of the people, MPs should act as the primary link between the government and the citizens, ensuring that the concerns of their constituents are heard and addressed in the legislative process. Jamaica's political system operates within a parliamentary democracy, and MPs are pivotal in the functioning of this system. There are 63 constituencies in Jamaica, each represented by an MP who is elected every 5 years. MPs should serve as the voice of the people, advocating for their needs, whether it's in health, education, infrastructure, or security. But what's the core role of an MP? Well, typically speaking, the core responsibility of an MP is to legislate. They debate and vote on bills in the House of Representatives, which helps shape the country's laws and policies. The passage of these laws impacts various aspects of society, from the economy to social welfare, and it is the MPs who hold the power to initiate, amend, and approve such legislation. In addition to legislative duties, MPs are also tasked with holding the government accountable. They participate in parliamentary committees, ask questions during sessions, and scrutinize government's actions to ensure transparency and good governance. This role is critical in a democracy, as it helps to check the powers of the executive and prevent abuse of authority. Furthermore, MPs play an essential role in addressing local issues within their constituencies, whether it's securing funding for a new road or advocating for better healthcare services. MPs are the first point of contact for many Jamaicans seeking assistance from the government. However, MPs also face criticism from the public for various reasons. Allegations of corruption, inefficiency, and a lack of accountability have plagued many individuals in this role, leading to public disillusionment. The challenge for MPs is not only to address the needs of their constituents, but also to maintain integrity and restore trust in the political system. Despite these challenges, MPs remain essential figures in Jamaican politics, as they influence both national and local policy decisions. Their work is instrumental in shaping the country's future, and their ability to balance the needs of their constituencies with national priorities will determine the success of the Jamaican democracy in the years to come. We discuss on Lead Story. Courtney Lewis for Lead Story.
And thank you, Courtney. All right, setting us up nicely for this discussion after the break, Jeanette Calder, Robert Miller.
Christ loves you, and greater love hath no man. Because of his love, he opens the way. He opens eyes, ears, and minds. Open your heart and experience General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and feel his love. Greater love.
All your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. We've got everything, stocking top brands like CNCs, Philips, and Allen Bradley. We guarantee quality and reliability. Shop with us and save with even free island-wide delivery. Conditions apply. Visit us at Shop 8 Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in electrical business.
It's the subject of many a discussion. What precisely is the role of the MP? What's the role of the MP in this specific area? And what's the role of the MP where the fight against corruption is concerned? Just what those people expect that their MPs ought to be able to do for them once they sit inside Gordon House. Well, the Jamaica Accountability Meter portal, they did a survey, and the findings rather interesting, confirming some of the things we felt anecdotally and opening our eyes to some other things. The founder and executive director of JAMP, Jeanette Calder, is with me this evening. Good evening, Jeanette.
Good evening, George. Good evening to your listeners, and good evening to MP Miller. Thanks for having me.
Right, and of course in studio, you're welcome, is the man in charge of the Southeast St. Catherine constituency, Big Rob Miller of the Jamaica Labour Party. Good evening, MP, welcome.
Good evening, George. Good evening to your listeners. Good evening.
And you are here because JAMP, of course, does the heavy lifting for journalists. We're tracking MPs and their attendance at Parliament is concerned. You have been identified as one of the outstanding ones where attendance and then participation is concerned. So we felt it necessary to have you here as part of the discussion. Well, we have to start with Jeanette. Jeanette, the intention of the survey was what?
Yeah, great start. Thank you for that. And I think you guys did an excellent job on the context a while ago. I'd love to hire who put that together for you. But it has everything to do with the gentleman who is sitting to your left, to be honest with you.
Right.
Mr. Miller is in the process of offering himself again as an elected representative. And JAMP really believes that the public has every right to have something in their hands when Mr. Miller comes, to be able to assess and evaluate the extent to which Mr. Miller is equipped and ready to serve. And you're absolutely correct, by the way, about the track record of Robert Miller in the House. I also want to really commend him every opportunity that I get. There are some of the things I've tried to obtain from parliamentarians, for example, reports on how you have used your constituency development fund. Mr. Miller, at the drop of a hat, is one of the few who I can count on to get that, even without solicitation. So I'm really happy that you have him with you. So JAMP wanted to reignite a conversation that began in 2022 when the government of Jamaica decided to increase significantly the salary of our MPs. Coming out of that, citizens were not pleased at the process. Even as JAMP wasn't having an issue with the raise, it was the question of an across-the-board increase, regardless of whether or not they have a record of MP Miller or the record of some parliamentarians who show up less than 40% of the time but got a raise. Now, the Prime Minister made the country a promise. He said, you're correct. There needed to be a way of evaluating, and there had to be an accountability mechanism. So we are going to give the people of Jamaica job descriptions, because the Parliament is the only workplace, George, without such.
Yes.
We are on record for saying that we believe that the job of Mr. Miller is the most important job in this country, because no other job can be done well, no doctor, no teacher, no farmer, unless the government is doing its part. So we are hoping that before the election, Mr. Holness will keep his promise of the job descriptions. No, just for some context, 2022, the promise was made. By 2023, the government had a green paper tabled in the House, which is a draft of what the job description looked like. And the government put together a committee from the Senate and the lower house to review the draft job description and also to have consultation with citizens. Now, I went to 2 of those town hall meetings, and I realized, George, that citizens don't really understand the role of the MP. So how can they review this job description?
Yes.
So in closing, in the last 15 months, the committee that was supposed to meet to create the job description that would put Jamaica in a position to have conversations with their prospective elected candidate to assess them on the basis of their competence going into the election. We still can't do that. So we wanted to trigger the conversation, get that committee going again, hence the survey with 1,700 Jamaicans speaking back at us.
Yeah, and that, I remind my viewers, that is more than you would find persons, in terms of the number of persons responding to any of the political opinion polls that are conducted by the big two, being Market Research Services Limited, Don Anderson's outfit, and of course Blue Dot. Their sample size is never normally at 1,700, normally about 1,200 thereabouts. MP Miller, so you've heard Jeanette Calder speak the truth about your attendance at Parliament and your willingness to provide information for assessment to be made of how MPs are getting on. What is it about your understanding of the job that causes you to place a premium on being there physically inside Gordon House on a Tuesday afternoon?
All right, I don't take my responsibility lightly. It's something that I've always wanted to do, to serve the people. Persons elected me to serve them. I have to ensure that I'm present, to ensure that I lobby on their behalf and I enact laws that will enhance their lives. Mm-hmm. The reality is that I am in close dialogue. I do not make any decision in the constituency without the input of the citizens. So I would call my internal meetings with all the presidents from the various associations, and then we will craft or we will spend our CDF. We will craft or we do infrastructures into the constituency, and I'll get their input on certain laws that are going to be placed and tabled in the House, and I'll bring their views forward. So, you know, I really take my job seriously. I love what I'm doing, mm-hmm. and I ensure that I'm there to lobby on the people's behalf. Also, I ensure that after each financial year, that a newsletter is sent to all the presidents of the association, mm-hmm. to disperse to the citizens as to what I've done with my CDF fund, mm-hmm. and what I've done with the additional money that is given to me, and pictures and everything, so people know, and they have the right to ask as to what did I do with this, what did I do with that.
Mm-hmm. Hear you on that. Oh, we're up on the break. Let's take the break. But just before the break, let me acknowledge that the use by JAMP of this question or these questions at this time, strategically, very, very important and rather timely, because yes, it's a conversation that needs to be refreshed at this time when people are going to come to us asking for votes for another term in office. Those job descriptions, something that we can hold the MPs to, assess them against, is necessary, and it's unacceptable that in 2025 we don't have that document as yet. And so I'm entreating Jamaicans to support any effort to get that on the table, plastic up and plastic up, as they'd say in the streets. Break time here on Lead Story. Back with more after this.
Every child deserves a home filled with love. When hope meets heart, a new journey begins.
Welcome home, David.
Welcome, David. Make it your own.
Family is built on moments shared.
Go, David, yes!
Every smile and every shared moment connects us with a brighter future. Here, you're not just welcomed, you're family. Foster hope, foster love, foster a child today. Contact the CPFSA for more information.
People, we now waste no time.
I am super excited to be on for another season to show you the Holy Road.
Listen, new adventures. Slim, Fluffy. Let's go. We're not going out, you know. Things are only getting hotter and hotter this season.
Click, pow. That must tell you something.
There's a great story happening just in our backyard. We are on the Holy Road again.
Welcome back to Lead Story, talking about the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal and a survey it administered recently, gauging citizens' perspectives on what they think the role of their MP is. What the survey is doing is highlighting how different people have different ideas about what their MP ought to be doing, stressing the need it does for a job description to be able to assess MPs objectively against. I have Jeanette Calder with me. She's the founder and executive director of JAMP and the Member of Parliament for South East St. Catherine, Robert Miller, a man who is busy right now trying to shore up support for himself ahead of the next election, which is due before September, but we don't know when it will be called. Jeanette, I know you don't want to be taken down the corruption rabbit hole, and I will not take you down there, but my viewers will kill me if I didn't ask the obvious question. Insofar as what the respondents, the 1,700 plus of them, said about what they understood the role of their MP to be in the fight against corruption, what did they tell you through the survey?
Well, first of all, 90% of them we were happy to see, and they believe. We asked them a simple true and false question. Do you agree that members of parliament have a role, an actual role in the parliament of fighting corruption? And 90% of them said yes, which was great. Then we asked them, we wanted to find out in terms of the tasks that an MP has to do in fighting corruption, which one is it that they think was most important? So we looked at creating laws, summoning public officials to come in and answer questions like a public accounts committee does, or monitoring the recommendations that comes out of an Auditor General's report. And amazingly, the majority went. And I say amazing because I didn't appreciate how much they understood the value of ensuring that the recommendations and the findings that comes out of an Auditor General's report must not only be discussed in Parliament, but they're saying must be followed up to ensure the Auditor General's recommendations are kept. So they saw that as a primary task. We asked them what was the biggest obstruction for effective oversight on the part of parliamentarians as it relates to fighting corruption. And they said simply, they believe that if an MP is not effective, they are not saying they all aren't, but if and when an MP is not effective, they believe it's simply because that MP is benefiting from corruption. And the second largest answer was that if they are not benefiting, then their associates are. We then asked them, if you had to prioritize the tasks for MPs to fight corruption and to oversee our money, what would you prioritize? We looked at improving laws. We looked at checking on the asset declaration of MPs, training MPs better to fight corruption. And again, we saw where following the AG's recommendations would be on top of that priority task. We wanted to find out if Jamaicans were just familiar with the committees that, for example, MP Miller sits on, which has responsibility to oversee our money, make sure we get the best value out of it. And we found out that 75% of those who were surveyed had little to no understanding or were familiar with the committees. So we're talking about the PAC, for example, the Integrity Commission's Oversight Committee, and an Ethics Committee, which many people probably don't know is actually in the House. And two more, if you had to pick what is most important, and I really want to pause on this one, George, because in the town hall meetings, JAMP shared one criticism of the job description. If there were 12 responsibility areas that an MP had, 8 of those responsibility areas was focusing on the constituency and the CDF fund.
Yeah.
And JAMP thought the government has $1 trillion to oversee. The CDF is 1% of that.
Yes.
How can the job description see 8 of them focusing on that and 5 of them on the parliament?
Yeah.
So we asked, and the parliamentarians said to us at these meetings, Jeanette, we're going to be frank with you. The constituency is where we get the power. And none of the constituents not asking us about what's happening in the House and national work. So we asked this important question. If you had to pick between what is more important, if you had to, the work in the constituency that your MP is doing to develop the constituency and monitoring that, or the work at the national level in the parliament monitoring the government, which one do you think would be more important? And we had 57% saying the national level and 43% saying the local level, which is a little different from the impression our MPs have.
Yes.
What about the familiarity with corruption laws? 73% had little to no familiarity with that. And our last question, George, which has implications for CSOs and the media, we wanted to know, who do you think are the most important stakeholders in fighting corruption? And of course, the MPs are present. We had the watchdog agencies coming out with 22%. Citizens, which is amazing, and I'm happy to say that, the second most important. They place the police at third. MPs are right there in the middle. Then civil society organization. Then the judiciary. And amazingly to me, George, because I put the media right up there, maybe at second.
Yeah.
They had the media as the least important stakeholders of all the seven that they were polled on.
Yeah, yeah.
So in essence, that's a quick summary of the findings, and we can discuss the implications if we have the time.
Yeah, but MP, let me ask you this. You heard those numbers.
Yes.
Insofar as your role as a man in place, legislative responsibilities, and leveraging that to fight corruption, whether you're part of a joint select committee or you're just on the floor of Parliament when an issue comes up, is it that you take your cue from what your constituents say, or you hold a party line, you go your conscience? What motivates what you do where a matter concerning state resources and the spending of state resources is concerned?
So I always tell people that I'm too old now to wear short pants, right? And my morals and...
Are you too tall?
And my morals guide me. You know, we were instructed by the Most Honorable Andrew Woolness when we got elected that we should scrutinize the government spending. I'm a member of PAC. I've missed one meeting. And we were instructed that we must hold the scrutiny to the highest level and ensure that we weed out corruption. And he's very serious about that. We also went on a course at the University of McGill, a group of us, especially those who are on PAC, where that is concerned, to educate us as to how to take on our roles as a parliamentarian. I have to ensure that I read the documents before going to that PAC meeting and ensure that we ask the pointed questions that our constituents need us to ask. It's not a situation where we caucus before a PAC meeting and said, this is the route we're going. No, we don't do that. We ask independent questions as to our constituents. And the reality is, I've heard the records, I've heard the percentage. The role of a parliamentarian is legislative. But the reality on the ground is really, if you go to Parliament 100%, it doesn't means well with the constituents. They want to see you in their community, and they want you to attend to their needs. They want to
press flesh. Jeanette, there are so many things to say. The clock is my enemy. I've just been ordered to leave the set, but you're going to have to come back because you're going to have to come and sit with me, and we go
talk
through
about the implications.
Yeah, because strategically, the strategic importance of what you've done needs to be fleshed out some more. So I commit that to you. I'll ask my producer to coordinate with you. All right?
Thank you, George.
Well, thank you for your time this evening, as ever. MP Miller, all the best to you, and thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me. Sure.
Excellent. The news at 7 is now upon us, and I'm being chased out of the studio.
People, we now waste no time.
I am super excited to be on for another season to show you the whole road.
Listen, new adventures. Slim get fluffy. That's cool. We're not going out, you know. Things are only getting hotter and hotter this season.
Click, pow. That must tell you something.
There's a great story happening just in our backyard. We are on the Holy Road again.
In a world where innovation meets tradition, agriculture is evolving like never before. From the latest sustainable farming technologies to age-old practices passed down through generation, agriculture is
precious to me.
I love the animals. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I love working.
Join us right here on CBM TV every Sunday during news at 7 as we explore the people, the science, and the breakthroughs that are shaping the way we grow, eat, and live. You don't want to miss it. This is Farming Forward.
So I'm sure you took her to a doctor, and what did he say?
He said that she had.
Jamaica is on a transformative path, and the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation and its agencies are leading the way. MEGJC Matrix is back for Season 2, bringing you the latest on the projects shaping our nation's future. Big changes, bold moves. This is the Season 2 of the MEGJC Matrix, driving development, transforming lives.
You can open a Sagicor Bank savings account from anywhere. Go online and open yours today.
The time by Sagicor Bank is
7 o'clock.
CVM News at 7 Wednesday, courtesy of
Your Love Lives On with life insurance from Sagicor.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, Jamaica to face 10% tariffs on exports to the U.S. GOJ to implement joint task force on river mining. And NWA promises better drains in St. Thomas by summer. In the business report, an open portal to agricultural efficiency. While in sports, Meat Director admits to issues at Champs. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. It's Wednesday, April 2, 2025. I'm Nika Lewis. Thank you so much for having joined us. A bold move from the White House today as President Donald Trump enacts new tariffs aimed at reshaping trade relationships and relations and rebuilding the U.S. economy on what he has dubbed Liberation Day. The move, which sees a 10% tariff on Jamaican exports to the United States, has sparked reactions for Jamaican manufacturers. With the details, here's Courtney Lewis.
United States President Donald Trump has implemented a wave of tariffs on what he has declared as Liberation Day for the United States in an effort to reshape trade relationships worldwide. According to Trump, the tariff is reciprocal and in response to a 10% import tariff charged by Jamaica on U.S. products.
At the same time, we will establish a minimum baseline tariff of 10%. You notice that on the chart. And that'll be on other countries to help rebuild our economy and to prevent cheating. Foreign nations will finally be asked to pay for the privilege of access to our market, the biggest market in the world.
The decision has been met with uncertainty from the local Manufacturers and Exporters Association, the JMEA, whose president, Sidney Thwaites, provided initial comment on today's announcements.
It seems like Jamaica would fall in the 10% bracket. We're not exactly sure how that's going to be implemented yet. The way it was kind of laid out appeared to be a flat tax on all products, but we're not sure about that yet until we see a little more detail. It would certainly make Jamaican products more expensive relative to products made in the US that have sole US componentry, but I don't think we're disadvantaged against other countries with what we've seen in the regime announced so far.
The membership of the JMEA is now considering its strategic response to the new tariff regime.
We actually had a call about it with our members this morning ahead of the announcement, and our advice was that there could potentially be some challenges, whether it's on increasing our price to our ultimate consumer in the U.S. of our exported goods, or having the potential to maybe change the flow of some goods and affect our supply chains.
In spite of the lack of granular detail on the new development, Thwaites remains optimistic that opportunities may yet emerge for Jamaica.
We're telling our members to really look out and seek, a lot of input from, the supply chains, customers, etc., and others who are in the space. And while we're doing that, keep a lookout and keep agile for any opportunities that could come our way as a result of this.
Courtney Lewis for CVM News.
The threat of illegal mining is growing, and Water Minister Matthew Samuda has taken serious steps to limit the illicit activity. A tour of a river valley in West Portland recently revealed more than the unapproved mining in some areas, but also the need for swift intervention. We hear more in this report.
The government will be establishing a joint task force to help assess and prevent illegal river mining across the country. Water Minister Matthew Samuda made the announcement during a tour of the Swift River Valley area in Portland this week.
I wish to also advise the public that we will be convening a joint task force with members of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, members of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, and of course NEPA and the Mines and Geology Department, because ultimately we have to do an assessment as to where we are with river mining and whether we can continue in some areas and which areas require much stricter enforcement. The issues seen today are of concern to me, and we will be taking the necessary action to bring those who should be brought to book.
He also threatened individuals and entities who continue to mine without permission or beyond their licenses with heavy fines and penalties. This as he commended locals for their initiative and cooperation in sharing their concerns about illegal mining in the parish.
We are advising and encouraging those who are mining illegally or outside of the terms of their permit that the laws have changed. There are heavier fines than there used to be. Desist from doing so, because you will be brought to book and you will face heavy fines of up to $5, in some cases $10 million Jamaican. This is not worth it. However, we say to the public, continue to advise us of these issues. We will take the necessary actions.
The minister shares the authorities will stop at nothing to have those in breach held to account.
We will be taking the strongest possible action under the law to protect our environment.
He's also encouraging Jamaicans to report suspicious mining in their area, assuring justice will be served.
On March 20, Chief Justice Bryan Sykes granted 2 orders in the case brought by the People's National Party, PNP, against the government in the Portmore Parish matter, resulting in an interim injunction and the prevention of the minister from naming an effective date for the law. And on March 28, that injunction was lifted by Chief Justice Sykes following legal arguments between members of the PNP and the government. On Tuesday, the Constituency Boundaries Committee held its first meeting since the ruling. Here's more from Joel Crosskill.
The pathway to Portmore's parish status made another small advance, with the first meeting of the Constituency Boundaries Committee in Parliament since the reversal of the temporary injunction, and according to MP for St Catherine Southwestern Everell Warmington, considerably longer than that.
It is required under Section 67 that a electoral boundary committee be established immediately after general election. This committee has not met since the establishment. The last time this committee met to deal with constituencies was prior to 2011. A committee met was prior to 2011.
Speaker of the House Juliet Holness explained that there was only one item on the agenda for the day's sitting.
The only thing the committee would be doing today is forwarding the ruling of the Supreme Court, and the Electoral Commission takes the issue from there.
However, with the Attorney General, Dr. Derek McCoy, a defendant in the PNP lawsuit present, St Catherine Southern MP Fitzjackson, one of the PNP claimants in the legal action, took the opportunity to invite further clarity on the lifting of the injunction.
Was there a lifting? Was there a lifting of the injunction?
Temporary injunction.
Yes. Was there a lifting of an injunction by the court?
Yes.
But I ask you that because my understanding is that the injunction that was issued prior to had expired upon that hearing.
Yes.
So if it expired, it couldn't have been lifted.
What we have here is an undertaking by the minister to ensure that the constitutional process is followed. There's no injunction preventing anything, and it would probably a little bit eccentric perhaps for a court to want to give that type of injunction for any longer on man time. But the minister's undertaking to the court is that before he exercises the power given to him by the statute, he will ensure that the constitutional requirements are carried out. It might be useful to say that this function of determining constituencies, or the number of them, and the boundary of them resides in your parliament. It doesn't reside in anybody else. I know we're all very proud of the Electoral Commission, and we attribute to them all sorts of responsibilities. But the Commission's responsibility is just to advise first this committee, and this committee will then recommend to Parliament.
House Speaker Juliet Holness indicated a timeline by which the deliberations of the Electoral Commission should be completed on this occasion.
I would want us to incorporate in our vote so that timelines are important and set, that they return to us by May 31st, an indication of what they've decided and exactly what they're doing. So as a parliament, we are informed and we move forward from there.
We take a break. More CVM News at 7 in just a moment.
Fire Rub for all arthritis, pain, swelling, poor circulation, numbness, inflammation, cold and flu, stroke, stiffness, sprains, strain, boils, insects, bites, and menstrual discomforts. Miracle Fire Rub, available at King Street Pharmacy, 72.5 King Street, downtown Kingston, and Fontana Pharmacy, Barbican, or call 876-80-85903 or 876-2865-810 or 876-3267-667. Miracle Fire Rub. Rub it on, the pain is gone, gone, gone.
10, 9, 8, 7.
CVM TV in association with Express Fitness and Exodus Carnival presents Fit for Fet, the ultimate workout series to get your body ready for the road. Tune in 5 a.m. every morning, Mondays to Fridays, starting April 7th to get involved in high-impact workouts by some of the best in the game. Bring your mats, bring your water, and let's get fit for the fit with Express Fitness and Exodus Carnival, powered by CVM TV.
This is combat racing. Best on best. Kenny versus Fred, fastest men alive. Masai versus Jasmine, the crown is hard to keep. Cole, Josh, Yara, are you lucky or good? Gabby, Sydney, Marlady, champions preside. This is where scores are settled, legends made, a festival of speed 4 times every year. The race is on. Buy your tickets now.
Welcome back. The election campaign is heating up with the governing Jamaica Labour Party JLP questioning People's National Party PNP President Mark Golding's UK citizenship and his eligibility to serve as the Prime Minister. This constitutional debate adds intensity to the race for leadership. The latest attack was launched in St. James during a recent workers' conference.
The latest attack against the PNP president came from the West, where Deputy Senate President Senator Charles Sinclair questioned a move by Mark Golding to prove his renunciation of British citizenship online recently.
I was under the belief that he would hold up the certificate of renunciation of Parliament and say, see the renunciation here, I am committed to Jamaica. He couldn't do that. So to take yourself, Mr. Marky British, and go on a vlogger site and go hold up one paper that we can't see, we can't question it, We can't put no question to you. I am asking Jamaica today and the people of Central St. James, can you trust that man?
The senator notes, under Andrew Holness's leadership, much has flourished, echoing the party's claims that Jamaica is at its best since independence.
When you look on the performance of this government under the leadership of Andrew Holness, we have performed in all areas. We have performed on the economy. Jamaica is in the best place it has ever been since independence under Andrew Holness.
And if those were not enough, he insists there's been a record number of infrastructural investments and initiatives under the Holness administration.
When you look right across Jamaica, the infrastructure development is the best under Andrew Holness.
In grandfather Banya,
when you look on tourism, tourism is in the best place under Andrew Michael Holness.
We are bridge.
And when you look on housing solutions, it is under the best leadership, Andrew Michael Holness.
Senator Sinclair was addressing the St. James Central Workers' Conference at the weekend, in which he threw his support behind Deputy House Speaker Heroy Clark. The party says it's assured Clark is the man for the seat, heeding the cries of the people and ensuring their upliftment.
As at April 1, Canada has officially ratified Jamaica's accession to the October 25, 1980 Hague Convention on the Civil Aspects of International Child Abduction. Canada joins a list of 47 countries, including the United States and the United Kingdom, in recognizing Jamaica under the treaty, which facilitates the swift resolution of international child abduction cases between the nations. We hear more in this report.
CEO of the Child Protection and Family Services Agency CPFSA, Laurette Adams-Thomas, hailed the development as a significant step in safeguarding the welfare of children with ties to both countries.
This ratification strengthens our international partnerships in child protection, ensuring that children who are wrongfully taken from Jamaica to Canada or vice versa have a clear legal pathway for a safe and timely return.
The 1980 Child Abduction Convention is a multilateral treaty designed to protect children from wrongful removal or retention across international borders by a parent. It establishes procedures for the prompt return of children to their country of residence, ensuring that rights of custody and access are upheld across contracting states. With Canada's ratification, families affected by international child abduction will now have access to a structured legal framework to resolve cases involving the two nations.
The CPFSA, which is Jamaica's designated central authority for the convention, has been instrumental in managing cross-border child protection matters with all countries who have previously ratified our accession. The inclusion of Canada now strengthens the reach as well as the effectiveness of this convention and reinforces our commitment to ensuring that children are not unlawfully separated from their families.
Under the convention, the CPFSA will facilitate cooperation between Jamaican and Canadian authorities to locate abducted children, assist in voluntary returns where possible, and initiate legal proceedings when necessary.
The convention serves as a crucial tool in our ongoing efforts to protect children from the trauma of parental abduction. By working closely with our counterparts in Canada, we can mitigate the distressing impact of these situations and uphold the fundamental rights of children.
The agency is encouraging parents and guardians to seek legal recourse through the established mechanisms rather than resorting to unlawful removal.
The age-old problem of improper drains in sections of St. Thomas will be addressed by summer, according to the National Works Agency. While the agency is fine-tuning its plans and is careful about disenfranchising residents, one glaring option will require people making some adjustments. More from Carlin Brown.
At the outset, divided the project into 3 tranches, so this is the final tranche that we're now working on.
Manager of Communication and Customer Services at the National Works Agency, the NWA, Stephen Shaw, admits even at this stage all has not gone according to plan in Portmore and St. Thomas. But he shares the concerns will be addressed within a timeline that should be the rainy May to October season, which would exacerbate the problem.
We have major drainage features that are on the way in this space. We have had a bit of a challenge with some of the works that we're doing, but we intend to have the activities completed. As a matter of fact, the entire S-chip, we're looking to close it out before the end of the summer.
So extensive is the work, it calls for the worrisome and sometimes controversial decision of relocation.
The drainage plan for this space involves the construction of drainage features on both sides of the road. We intend to drain some of the stormwater through the swamp that is in that area near to the gas station. We know that persons are actually living in that area. We look at the lay of the land, and really it is the most suitable place for us to have the drainage features constructed. Not so suitable for persons to inhabit.
In cases where it's a no-go, the intention, he outlines, is for an amicable solution which enables coexistence, while the agency also fine-tunes its option. At the same time, corrective work, he says, is continuing in areas between Morant Bay and Yallas to include base replacement as well as lines where defects have been identified. So what of the section of the road through Bowden beyond the laying of some fiber optic ducts?
That area, as you can see, is part of the wetlands in the space, and so we have had to be seeking the relevant approvals from the Environmental Agency, NEPA, and we are actually awaiting NEPA's approval in respect of the works to be done.
Until then, it's another period of wait and see. Carlin Brown, CVM News.
More to come right after the break, so stay with us.
You ever get bun yet? Me not talk about heartbreak. Me talk about the bun where full of spice, raisins, and the perfect glaze.
Bun for bun.
So you do it now.
You have to get bun.
This Easter, you have to get bun from Mother's Bakery.
The future finds us faster than we think. But with CIBC Caribbean on your side, you'll be ready for all of it. That's how we've served Jamaica for over 100 years with industry-leading digital capabilities and innovative solutions. And it's how we'll do it for 100 more. That's the power of banking better together. Come, see what that looks like for you at CIBC. Ambitions made real.
Jesus Christ loves you, and greater love hath no man. Because of his love, he opens the way. He opens eyes, ears, and minds. Open your heart and experience General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and feel his love. Greater love.
Welcome back. It's one day past the 100th official birthday of a Manchester resident who also lived overseas. He was born in Clarendon but was registered days later. This Jamaican now enjoys the years of his labor. He shared his high and low moments with Curlin Brown for Living the Life.
Living the life defies time and laws.
Yeah, make sure everybody's in order and everybody can see me.
Daddy, go sit in that chair.
Yeah,
Daddy.
take your seat, Daddy.
Daddy, sit in the chair. Here he comes. And now he sits.
Hello.
Yes, he made it to 100 years old in 2025.
Tell me your name and when you're born.
My name is James Francis. I was born 1925.
What month? What day? You know them say all through day that you're not tricking me.
No.
The man who once lived and worked in England until retirement has been loyal to family and royalty.
This is a royal mail. Authentic. Royal mail it says, and Buckingham Palace. With the name on it, Mr. James Francis. Care of, and his address is on it. Authentic. Legal.
Mr. Francis stayed true to the woman he met with one child, who is also mother to his children. When Ivy died, they had been married for over 50 years.
Every month, as one set left, another one came in. So for the whole year, and we didn't plan it, it just so happened that everybody booked. And every month there was a set of family from England here to stay with him.
Look now, Papa getting things. Yes. I know you're both happy and proud. This is a moment of pride. Who collected the mail first? Who got the mail? You got the mail, girl. Yes. So when you see this pop up, what came to your thoughts?
You know, I was excited. I was proud of him, and also he's got a letter of long service as well.
He got that before?
He got this
back in
this before
1977. Wow, turn it around.
Right here. Yeah.
And it says, we are so pleased to know that you are celebrating your 100th birthday on March 9, 2025. This brings our warmest congratulations and heartfelt good wishes on such a special occasion.
It was hard keeping up with the Centenarian in his backyard on an impromptu stroll through his field to his pig pen, where he spends most of his days. You could tell this is where he's most comfortable.
And then, when we come off of the boat, the boat ship, we take this train from Southampton to London. And the train station in London was Victoria. And when we land at Victoria train station,
A complete stranger, and it wasn't All Fool's Day. More next time with the 100-year-old James Francis. I'm Curlin Brown for Living the Life, CVM News.
Defies time and law.
Really hope you had a happy birthday. So we are now being joined by Jordan Fort for a look of what's to come in sports.
Well, Nika, of course, the conversations are continuing about the fall starts, a plethora of fall starts at Champs. Well, we had the meet director, Anthony Davis, on Fan Central last evening, so we'll give you what he said. Okay. Plus, we're talking about the regional 4-day competition that resumes. Jamaica Scorpions in a key battle. We'll give you the update.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that, and there's so much more to come right after this break.
Mix of wise investment, so I keep earning no matter the season. I have a diversified portfolio with Sagicor Investment Sigma Global Funds. Call me savvy.
Let us help you find your ideal mix of investments today with Sigma Global Funds.
I'm Peter McConnell, CEO of Trading Citrus. I'm here with my production team making our newest product, True Milk.
True Milk is made with 100% cow's milk from their own homegrown, naturally fed
production team,
processed and pasteurized at their state-of-the-art factory in Buckwalk. True Milk is 100% cow's milk with no additives. True Milk is the real deal. Take it from the experts.
Move up to the best milk ever. True Milk, truly the best.
New KFC saucy wings tossed in savory mango habanero or buffalo sauce. KFC, it's finger licking good. The time by KFC is
7:30.
We welcome you back with the Business Report. Here's Joel Crosskill.
Lots to share with you in the Business Report today, as a window into the world of agricultural export has been prized open, courtesy of the efforts of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, whose recognition of the inefficient processes involved in the preparation of produce destined for overseas markets often resulted in the consumption of more time than many prospective exporters could stomach. Floyd Green, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, made the declaration during a recent export expansion capacity building clinic.
It is my pleasure to unveil today the newest addition to our suite of practical tools provided by the Ministry of Agriculture to drive export expansion. This is the Trade and Market Intelligence Portal, which streamlines all the ministry's market information, its tools, its systems, its agencies into one single platform that is accessible to everyone.
Dermot Spence, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, offered context relating to additional challenges surrounding export, including the potential threat of a tariff tit-for-tat between some of Jamaica's largest export markets.
There's a lot of talk about what is happening in the trade space. And what we must not do, we must not shy away from what is happening, but move boldly to understand, to analyze, and to work together to capitalize on the opportunity that these change in the international space will provide. There is a commitment from government, there is a commitment from the ministry to provide all the support that it can. We have set certain structures in place. All the things are known. The need for greater financing, the need for collaboration, the need for partnership.
As well as efficiency, which the newly formed portal is intended to provide.
This portal is fully outfitted with investment guides, profiles, and calculated return on investment. So literally, you can go on the portal and you can see what do you need if you're going to go into yam or sweet potato. You can see what sort of investment it will take, what is the length of time, what is the best area to plant it, and more than that, what sort of returns you can get. Because you will also be able to see what are the demand numbers in the various markets. So you can see what is the US asking for, what is EU asking for in relation to how much quantities we think we can supply, they are demanding, And more than that, what are the market entry guidelines?
Yet another barrier of entry for farmers that is also being addressed are non-tariff related. Minister Green explains.
One of the things that we have been doing from the ministry, and we probably don't speak about it enough, is looking across the world at some of those non-tariff barriers. Some of the things that stops us from getting into our markets. And we have seen that unfortunately, even in the region, there are still some of those non-tariff barriers that we have to treat with. And the team from the ministry, our veterinary services unit, our plant quarantine, and our trade team have been working with those countries, and we are seeing increased access. In fact, we're seeing a lot of our poultry products make their way into Barbados now, make their way into Trinidad now. And the last time I was at Jamaica Broilers, they told me, PS, that they're now in Guyana. The UK, we have benefited from Brexit, and now our soft fruits and vegetables can make their way into the UK. We have seen increased access in the Cayman Islands, and they approved almost all our items.
As Permanent Secretary Spence confides, the time to reap the rewards of progress that is being sown behind the scenes of the sector are now beginning to ripen.
This export clinic, therefore, as we launch it this morning, is not only to have you understand what we have packaged and the direction in which we are going, but to certainly empower you to come on board with us and to commit to a process of reinvigorating and rejuvenizing and all the re-things that we do, because we have been there before, in order to capitalize on the changes that we are seeing taking place.
And that was your business report. I'm Joel Crosskill.
Now for a look at what's trending on social media.
So, what's been mentioned in our local social media spaces today? The entertainment world is mourning the loss of Jamaican actor Munir Zaka, who passed away today. Zaka left an indelible mark on both the stage and screen with iconic roles such as Sonny T in the popular Jamaican soap opera Royal Palm Estate and as Mr. Anderson in the classic film Shutters. Here are some of your reactions. At Anthony_Sway29 writes, Jaja, kids these days don't know a thing about Royal Palm Estate. At Blake_Zest shares, no way naga get the visa, dog. Jaja, one Mr. Anderson. At Ed_4 adds, what good Mr. Zaka, aka Sonny T. You are a stalwart in the Jamaican entertainment industry. At Nika JA says, the amount of heartache this man caused our grandmothers, right up there with Stefana Demira. What good legend. At AJ Stays Real comments, such a great actor. I really wanted to work with him. At _Vincent posts, boy, Mr. Anderson, rest in paradise, father. Hashtag Shutter for life. And that's what's trending online today. Continue to share your thoughts with us on X at CVM TV and CVM Television on Facebook. I'm Michael Paul.
Stay with us for sports with Jordan Ford right after this break.
People always say me and Tammy is couple goals. You are our couple goals.
Babsy says I asked Tommy to take care of Carlin family because I'm busy, and he did take care of her.
I met Winnie and she whispered in my ear and she says, I thank you for the music.
I got into an argument with him. You hear me sing my song and you copy it.
Oh, where I say Bob Marley accused Tommy Coward to thief him song. When Uncle Tommy young in a hot boy, then test you, auntie, me no, you know.
The Cut, brought to you by Flow.
10, 9, 8, 7.
CVM TV in association with Express Fitness and Exodus Carnival presents Fit for Fet, the ultimate workout series to get